Hey, what's up? I'm back with another video to level up your Laravel skills. In today's video, we are going to learn how to upload really big CSV file into database. So the problem is if you got really big like 30,000 line of CSV file, which in this case we are going to upload this file which got really more than more than 35,000 lines. So if you try to import this CSV into your database, and at the same time if you have to check if there is already a record, and if there is no record, like for example this policy ID, so this is just a sample file, so you need to check if this policy ID already exists in database. If not, then insert. So while checking and doing all the import task, it will use up memory, and once it move up to 30-second timeout, then you won't be able to upload other records. It will only upload. So we'll see the problem and we'll solve it in this video. So hope you are excited. Let's get started. So for this video we are going to take the example of this insurance policy data. I've just used these data for example purpose, and let's make some table, like I'll call it PHP artisan make model insurance, and then we'll create migration controller which will be the resourceful controller. Okay, so let's go to migration. So here we'll need these fields 1 2 3 4. So policy ID, county, latitude and longitude. Okay, migration is ready. We'll create these fields. So by the way, I am using existing project just to save some time. I have set up everything like database and all stuff. So yeah, we are just creating this migration and then migrate. Okay, it should create. So we got this insurance table, and now we'll import all those data in this database. Okay, let's go to web.php and let's create some route. So we'll create two routes. One route to show the form to import that file, so that will be the file upload form. I will call it import. Alright, so we'll create these two routes. So import will show the form which will point to the create, and will store will just store that. Okay, so let's go back to insurance controller. So we don't need other methods, we just need create and store. Let's get rid of everything. So this create will just show the view. I'll call it import view. Let's create that new view. So I'll just duplicate this welcome blade and name it import.blade. All right. So I will get rid of everything inside the body, and I will paste a form. So I paste this sample form. I won't let you just see me typing all these HTML form. So basically we got simple form with one file upload button, file upload field, and then submit button. So which will point to import URL that we have defined here, post method. Yeah, that's it. Now let's go to browser and let's view. So lms.taste import. Okay, we got a pretty basic form. This will work for now. Okay, so once we submit, it will hit this method inside our insurance controller requests. Alright, so let's die and dump request all and see what data we are getting. Refresh, choose a file. So we'll be choosing that file, insurance.csv, and then submit. There we go. So we are getting file and all other stuff. So here first we'll do validation. So the idea here for uploading really big file is we'll make the separate files from one big file. Suppose we got this 30,000 record in this file, we'll just chunk them down into several files with 5,000 or some that kind of data. We'll create many files, we'll just chunk it. So for example, up to this 500 record we'll make one file, then from 500 to 1000 another file, and then we'll import we'll queue them all and then import one by one. That will prevent us from that 30-second timeout, and it will keep uploading. So we'll be using Redis to upload the file continuously. It will just look for the queue and keep uploading, so it will execute the upload script. So if you do not understand what I just said, just bear with me, you'll get it in a moment. So after file is validated, we are sure that we got file, and then what we'll do is we'll get the file, we'll turn the file into array by doing so. So from request we get file, and then we'll get the real path of file, get real path. So let's die and dump and see what we got inside file. So it will get all the content of the file. So here we got all the file in array, file content in array, and then now what we'll do is we'll remove the first line of that file, because the first line is this header, right? So the idea we had is we just want to chunk this down into several files, so we'll remove this first line and then we'll proceed further. So array slice, and we'll slice the first line out. Okay, so after that we will then, let's say, create the parts of data by chunking array chunk, and then data. So we'll split every 1000 line, or we can do 1000, or we can do 5000 lines. So according to your heaviness of your query, or if you have to execute more queries, you might have to reduce this line, you might have to chunk them down and create more files to allow PHP to process them one by one. Basically you can do 1000, 5000. So in our case there is not a big query we have to execute, then it can easily process 5000 record at once, so that's why I'm doing so. So at this point we got separate chunk of data, and now what we'll do is we'll loop through them. So parts as part, and now we'll put these into a separate file. So first we'll get the unique file name, so we'll be storing them inside, let's see, so inside resources I'll create a new folder, or you can create programmatically, but I'll say pending files, yeah, pending files. And then we'll access that. We can call base path or resource path, and then from resource path we'll access the pending files folder, and then we can concatenate current date time to make it unique. Yeah, we are doing like so. We concatenate the current date time, and then we'll concatenate the key, we say index dot csv. Yeah, there we go. So now we got unique file name, and then we'll put this into that, these all content of the chunked file. So we'll use file put contents. So we'll put into this file name, the data will be that part. So this part will be the array of data, array of these array that contains this 5000 records. All right. Okay, so once that is done, we can do so we can flash this session queued for import, and then we redirect user to import. Okay, so far so good. Let's go to browser and let's see. LMS. Yeah, so here we go, and now let's upload this file, submit it. Yeah, so queued for importing, and now let's go back to VS Code and let's see inside pending files. There we go. So we got these files, we got 8 files, and those 8 files contain these data. All right. So this chunked data, and now we'll upload one by one. So up to this point we are done with controller, and now we need to write a script that will take that one file and process it and then upload it to table. All right, so yeah, that's it for controller. Now let's go back to model file. We'll write that logic inside model. So we have insurance model. Okay, so here we'll write parse import. Yeah, you can call it import to db. Alright, so here first we'll get the path for CSV files, so where CSV files are located. So resource path and pending files. So this is the directory where we are putting everything, and then we can get all this file with this pattern CSV. So basically what we're doing is we're getting all the CSV file path for all CSV. We are just pointing the path for all CSV files, and here what we'll do is we'll get 2 files at a time or 1 file at a time and then process it. Alright, so after that we will use this glove function to get all the files in this path. So this function will just get all the files in our this location that we just saved it. So it will get the array of all these files. Alright, file path. So now what we'll do is we'll loop through each of these, so these files, and we'll just process 2 files at a time. So or you can get 2 files or just 1 file at a time. So this will get the 1 file, array of 1 file, and then I will call it and then what we'll do is we'll import this to database. So first thing we'll get the data from that CSV file by using this function. So array map, so we'll use the PSV function, inbuilt function, which will get the CSV file content, and then we'll get the content of file by file function. So if you don't know about these, you can search for PSP manual file PSP, or what this file function do. You can go to documentation and search through. Here the file reads the entire file into array, so it converts all the file content into array. Alright, so yeah, so here we got all data, and we are calling this function to just convert those comma separated values into the readable data. So now here we'll loop through data for each data as row, and then we'll import this. So we'll reference this self class, which is insurance class, and then we'll do update or create. So first we'll check if the policy ID exists. Policy ID equals to row. So the policy ID exists in our first row. If you see on CSV, we got in first row, which is actually 01. So if you are confused about it, just comment it and then just dump it and see what is the structure of your row. So by the way, this class name should be capital. In my case, due to the typo while running command, it got that capital name. So I will do insurance. Alright, so file is renamed. So just to test this out, in one route, this home route, we are calling this import to dv method that will enable us to just test this data. Alright, so let's run it in browser. So home page, yeah, so we got this policy ID in 0, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so let's go to code. Let's uncomment this out. So row 0 will be policy ID, and then so if there is existing policy ID, we'll just update, otherwise we'll create new data. Okay, so let's see what else field we need to update. So county, let, and LNG. Alright, so row 1 will be county, let. So after this importing part is done, we'll just delete that file, unlink the file. Alright, so this file will be deleted, and then again this loop will execute it. Then this will act on another file, because that the file that we are currently acting on will be deleted after it is finished importing. Then it will loop through all files and then import all data. So yeah, that's how it works. So just to test this out, we'll run this and see if it is working or not. So it's a fillable property. We need to go to insurance and then protected, guarded. We'll make everything fillable. That's it. So let's run it. So looks like it is importing. Let's refresh the page. Yeah, so it is importing. So we are currently processing through one file. Okay, so this is working. So for now I'll empty this table. So since we have chunk this into smaller data, it is working for one file. So we got several files like that, so it will time out if we try to process everything at once. So now next what we'll do is we'll call this method for one file at a time. So the way we do it is by running the queue job, or there are job in Laravel, so we'll run them. Okay, so now we'll make a new queue to execute this code so that it will process automatically. Okay, so let's go to terminal and create PHP artisan make job. So it is called queue job. We'll call it process CSV upload. All right, there we go. Let's go to process CSV upload. So what we'll do is we'll execute all these actions that is inside loop, and instead what we'll do is upload CSV, sorry, the name of it is process CSV upload, and then we'll dispatch. So we'll dispatch this job and we'll put everything inside this handle method. All right, so what that will do is that will just execute this code over and over again, and we can just pass some data like file, and then we can accept this file in our job like so. So that will be string file, this file, file, there we go. So instead of this file, this file. So instead of self, we'll call insurance. Okay, so now it should work, but one more thing we want to add here is we'll use the Redis. So Redis will allow us to throttle our queue jobs. So here you can get these information in the documentation queues about how to create queues and all stuff. So in order to use Redis queue driver, you should configure Redis database inside config database. Okay, so let's go to config database. So Redis client, PHP Redis, and all settings. So all settings, we don't need to alter anything here, but in order to use Redis, we need Redis. Okay, so we need Redis to for Laravel to work with Redis. So let's install this Redis. So the reason we are using Redis for this queue connection is because Redis allows us to throttle our job. So we can process like 2 job every 60 seconds, and here will be our job logic. So that's exactly what we need in this case. So we'll allow one file or one, yeah, in our case one file or one logic for every 60 seconds. So what we'll do is let's copy this snippet and let's go to process CSV upload job and inside handle method. So you can give key anything you want, like upload CSV, and here we'll put our logic. So this logic, there we go. Okay, so let's review the workflow. So first thing what we'll do is we'll go to upload form, and from upload form we'll upload the file. Then file will be get divided into separate smaller files, and those smaller files will, so let's go to this insurance controller. So here we are making a smaller chunk of those files, and then it will be queued for import. Okay, so once that is done, let's review our workflow. So first thing, we'll go to the upload form. Let's go there. Okay, so in this form, from here we'll just choose a file that we want to upload, and then that file will get processed inside this insurance controller and this store method. So this store method will just chunk the file into separate files, smaller files, and after that files are all chunked, what we'll do is we'll call that method, that new insurance, and we need to import this file, yeah, class. So we'll call import to db method, and this will handle all this logic. So it will get all the files and then dispatch this job several times. Okay, so whenever we call this method, it will execute everything here from insurance class. So here instead of this we can directly, let's say, so we don't need to slice this class here, we can just run g or files, let's call it files. So we process all the list of files and then we'll dispatch, because we are limiting that execution of this over here. So what we'll do is we'll only allow one every, let's say, 20 seconds. Okay, so for every 20 seconds only one job will be executed. So as soon as this will run, it will execute like number of files. So it will put for example, if there are 10 files in array, then there will be 10 files in queue, so 10 jobs in queue. And what Redis help us is, so it will only execute one queue job per 20 seconds. That way we get enough time to process all the files. Okay, so it won't do 30-second timeout. Okay, so that's it. For just our information, what we can do is dump, so processing this file. So we'll just dump the file name, this file, so that we know which file is processing. So once that is done, we can, yeah, we can do here done this file. Yeah, okay, so once that is done, let's go to .env file and queue connection, let's put it Redis, and hopefully everything is fine. So if you are on Windows and using Laravel, what you need to do is just go to this preferences, service and ports, just enable this Redis, okay, and then close it and wait for it to reload. So it will stop all the services and then reload, and you can see here Redis started at this port. So that port is exactly Redis port. I think that Redis port you'll configure in config database, so you might not need to change anything because there is a default Redis port 6379. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. So once that is done, what we need to do is we need to listen for all the queues by running, what's the command for listening? I think php artisan queue work or queue listen. Yeah, this php artisan queue work. Let's run this command. Okay, so now if everything goes on queue, then it will start processing. Now it's time to go to our form and then execute, then upload the file. Let's upload that. So there are two classes, that's why it's error. Okay, so now let's upload that file. First what we need to do is, so while testing we have already created these files, we need to just clear them up and start from scratch. Okay, so we are here in import form, and let's choose a file. Let's import it, submit it. Okay, so if you get this kind of error, looks like we have forgot to update one setting. Looks like we have Redis client. So Redis client should be Redis. So up here Redis client equals to Redis. Save it. Let's go refresh, continue. There we go. Okay, so in this our queue job, we forgot to import this Redis class. Make sure you import this Redis class as this Redis facade over here. So once that is done, we need to clear everything out, go to Redis CLI plus db and then exit. So this will clear out any unfinished jobs previously, so that we are starting from scratch. Insurance controller, yeah, everything looks good. Make sure in your .env you are doing this queue connection Redis and Redis client Redis. Alright, so let's run php artisan queue work, so it will listen for any queue jobs that we are going to execute in a moment. So let's go to import form, let's choose file, let's choose that file, big file, and submit. So queued for importing. Let's go back to, yeah, so it is processing. So processing this file, this one, Laravel, this 0501 510. Alright, so we can watch our db if that is getting imported or not. Yeah, we already processed, like here 5047 rows, so it is still, yeah, so it keeps increasing. Everything looks good. So yeah, done this file and it is processing another file. and similarly it will keep executing. So now you can import any number of data you want, so it doesn't matter. So if there is a high intensive task, or if you need to execute too much query, you can just alter here. You can make a file with just 100 records maybe. Yeah, there will be a lot of files, but it will import that to your database. Yeah, so we finished 2 files. We are processing third one. We already got past 12,000 records. And if you see on your resources file, pending files, 1 2 3 4 5 6, so there were 8 files, now there are only 6. So once the file processing complete, it will just delete that file and then process different files. So previously it was processing this file, now this 12 number. Alright, so now this 13. Okay, so now there are remaining these files 14, 15, 16 and 17. Alright, so all file got processed and now we got more than 30,000 records in our database. So yeah, this is how you import very large CSV file. Hope you learned something out of this video. So I'll see you on next video. Bye.